Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. I am so excited about today's guest because I have been hearing about her for years from my dear friend in Maryland, Sharon McCrae, who's a PCRM cooking instructor. She's always making her recipes and always posting photos of them on social media. And I have been so wanting to meet her for years. And I'm so honored that she's going to be doing a cooking demonstration on the show, recipes from her new book, which is called Vegan Richa's Instant Pot Cookbook. Please welcome Vegan Richa. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Hey, Chef AJ, it's great to meet you too.
You are very talented in your recipe creation. That's the word on the street.
Yeah, I've been blogging for a while, and I tend to get a bit creative with it. So it's been a while, and I've put out 3 cookbooks in the meanwhile. And this is the current one. This is the new cookbook. It has 150 recipes, 400 pages, and it's pretty extensive.
Well, it's fabulous. What can I say? And instant pots for many years now, they're just pressure cooking in general has become so popular.
Yeah, it caught on now. Pressure cooking has been pretty popular in India for like a bunch of decades. It's been a while. I mean, I have been cooking for more than 30 years, in the pressure cooker. And when the Instant Pot got popular here, then everybody started to get, more into it. And, like I used to post pressure cooker recipes before, and only a few people used to make it. And then more people started making those. And that's when people are like, why don't you write a pressure cooker cookbook or an Instant Pot cookbook? So that's when I decided to write this book.
Well, I'm really glad you did because it will help so many people.
Yeah, I hope so. It's got tons of new stuff. People usually tend to make just soups and stews or chilies, but you can make lots of other stuff in the Instant Pot. You can make pastas, burgers, you can make desserts, cakes. You can make a breakfast sandwich, tacos, lots of different things in the Instant Pot and different techniques in the Instant Pot. Like pot and pot, you can put a pot inside the pot and cook 2 things or 3 dishes at the same time. So all that new stuff is covered in this cookbook.
Well, pot and pot is very intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I love that. Whoever
we'll get into it once we put the food in, and then we'll get into what's in the book, and I can show you pictures of how the pot and pot cooking works and stuff.
Right. Do most of your recipes have a little bit of an Indian flair to them?
Well, in the book, it's a split of 50-50. So half the book is an Indian vegan cookbook, Indian vegan Instant Pot cookbook. The other half is just a vegan Instant Pot cookbook. So it's not Indian. It covers a bunch of different cuisines. There's tacos, pastas, burgers and stuff like that. And those don't have any Indian spices or anything at all. So it's like 2 books in one.
Well, that's great. So a little something for everyone. But I think at least from the people that I know that know you, you're really well known for your Indian recipes.
Yeah, a lot of people come looking at my Indian recipes, but I mean, lots of other people find me for my other recipes as well, because not everybody likes the heat. So then they try the other recipes. So yeah, it's kind of for everybody, the book.
Now, if you don't like the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's what I say. You really have a little.
You can just omit it, because there's tons of flavor from the other spices which are not hot. They're just for flavor. So you can just omit the cayenne, the green chili, and there's still going to be tons of flavor in the dish. So you can try it anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are you going to make for us today, Richa?
So we're making the spinach rice. We're making both dump and done recipes today. So you can, there are sometimes extra steps in recipes where you saute first and then put stuff in and then pressure cook. But both of these are dump and done. That means you just put everything in, mix, close the lid, and you're good to go. So we're making the spinach rice and chickpeas today. That's a dump and done recipe. You just add everything to the pot, mix it up, and you're good. And we're also making, we're also making a mango chutney. That's also a dump and done recipe. You just put everything in, mix it, close the lid, and we're good to go.
Oh my God, I love chutney. That's like one of my favorite condiments.
Yeah, it's great as a side to a lot of different things.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to get started. Do you have a particular Instant Pot model that you recommend?
I have 3 Instant Pots. So I prefer the 6-quart duo, but people can just look at the different models and see what all functionality they like and get it. The 6-quart is good enough for most families, but if you have a really large family, you can go for the 8-quart or even larger. Sometimes larger pots can have issues in terms of overheating and things like that. So you really want to make sure you're getting the right model and the right size.
Nice. Yeah, I have 3 as well. I have all 3 sizes, the 3-quart, the 6-quart, and the 8-quart, but I tend to prefer the 8 just because I do so much batch cooking, even though we're only 2 people here.
Yeah, it really depends on the kind of style of cooking, your family size and stuff like that. I usually use the 6-quart. I also have stovetop pressure cookers. So I use the tiny stovetop pressure cooker, which is probably just like 1 quart or something. Because it's just the 2 of us, me and my husband, and we're sometimes just cooking for 1 meal or 2 meals. It works out really well to use that.
Yep, absolutely. All right.
So let's get into making the spinach, rice, and chickpeas. If you can see the pot, you can see this pot, right?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my screen so that now we can see side by side.
So it's just some chickpeas. Let me turn this as well. Spinach. This is frozen spinach that I thawed. You don't really need to squeeze it out or anything. Some basmati rice that I'd soak for about 10 minutes, then drain.
Nothing wrong with using frozen vegetables at all.
Yeah, for spinach, I usually use frozen.
Yeah.
Some tomato. You can also add in whatever veggies, fresh or frozen, in this dish. It's like a 1-pot meal. Some green chili, but you can just omit it if you don't want the heat. And this is some garam masala, salt, and bay leaves. You can change up the spices to whatever you want. You can also use the Burberry, that's the Ethiopian blend. You can use Cajun spice, curry powder, Jamaican curry powder. So it's a very flexible recipe.
Those are the best kind.
Yeah. And that's it. And then you just pour in the water. Give it a good mix.
Are you using the saute function now?
No, it's a dump and done. You don't saute or anything. You're just putting everything in and starting the pressure cook. That's it. Nothing more. Close the lid, set it to ceiling, start the pressure cook to 5 minutes. And we're good. So that one's already in. Move this to.
Well, that was pretty easy.
Yeah, that's the good thing about dump and done recipes, is that you can just put everything in and forget about it.
That's what I love about the Instant Pot. Set it and forget it.
Mm-hmm. Now the mango chutney. So we're putting in some mango. This is a really ripe mango. Not this. Not this. Oh wait, I forgot the ginger garlic in that one.
Well, you can still add it.
Yeah.
Have you always cooked your entire life?
I've been, sorry?
Have you been always cooking your entire life?
I used to cook a lot when I was in grad school. I also cooked a lot with my mom in high school. My entire life. Okay, back to the mango chutney. That's the mango. Since I didn't have 2 cups of mango, I'm adding in some apples. It'll be a mango apple chutney.
Yum.
Some raisins, some vinegar. And this is some black pepper, cinnamon, pepper flakes, and salt. And some ginger garlic. If you aren't really using any oil in this, I'm going to add in a little bit of water. Good mix. That's it. Put it on sealing. Start the pressure cook. And that's it. Everything is already done.
That was pretty easy.
Yeah, now we can get back to talking about the books.
Great. Well, so since we're just having the Instant Pot, there's nothing to see on that, so I'll put you back on the screen full, okay?
Yep.
There we go. Well, yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself and when you first adopted a plant-based diet and why.
So I started blogging in 2009. I actually was in tech. I used to work in tech before, but I had to have brain surgery and I couldn't go back to work. So I was just sitting at home, and when I could start doing stuff, I started cooking to just, occupy my time. And then I started posting my recipes online, and people started cooking those recipes. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. So I started blogging. Around that same time, and I seriously started blogging, we also started fostering some dogs. We adopted our first Pomeranian, and I started reading more blogs and vegan blogs, and the connection kind of just happened because we had one. I mean, it was already happening in my head. I think one of the things that got my connection really strong was that we had one foster from puppy mill, and he was really shut down, and reading about the puppy mills and everything. Then I got connected to reading about factory farms and stuff like that. So I decided at that time to go vegan. Basically transitioned to a vegan diet, and then slowly became a vegan lifestyle. So that's when we turned vegan. My husband followed after some time because I kept sending him too much to read.
Oh, how long ago was that?
This was 2009.
Wow, that's great. All because of a puppy.
Yeah, I think it was a bunch of different things, but definitely the dogs kind of made that connection, click completely.
Had you heard much about a vegan or a plant-based diet before that?
I had not. So I was, I had not heard about veganism at all before that. So then once we went vegan, the blog was vegan, and I started, posting consistently. I signed a book deal. Then the first book came out in 2015. That was The Indian Kitchen. That became incredibly popular because I think there weren't too many vegan Indian options out there. I think there were 2 cookbooks before me, but they weren't written by people who were vegan. So, the perspective was completely different. So that one became really, really popular. Then I wrote my second book in 2017. That was Everyday Kitchen. It was just, everyday vegan cooking with a little bit of different ethnic cuisines touched here and there. And then now this third one, which is the Instant Pot Cookbook. And this, all of my books and my blog usually have a lot of allergy-friendly options. So even in this one, each recipe has, if it's not already gluten-free, nut-free, or soy-free, there are options written for each one of them. Let me show you.
I appreciate when cookbook authors do that. make modifications for people that have either health or dietary restrictions so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, like this malai kofta, it says in the variations on how to make it gluten-free and nut-free, and all of these are tested as well. So all those options are there in the book.
Do you have a favorite recipe in any of your books or a fan favorite?
It's really hard to pick. It changes every week. So depending on the season and what I've been cooking, it changes. Like I think the past 2 weeks, we've been eating a lot of skillet lasagnas. That's what I've been posting on the blog for a bit. So different kinds of skillet lasagnas. So everybody's been eating my regular skillet lasagna and the pesto skillet lasagna. That one's not on the blog yet, but it's going to come up. So those things, we're going to start using the Instant Pot more since it's getting hot now. So if anybody wants desserts for breakfast, we're going to probably make it in the Instant Pot.
Do your fans have a favorite in general? Like, is there a certain recipe you're known for over the years?
I think it varies. The Instant Pot recipes, the lasagna soup is super popular, as well as the mushroom bourguignon. That one has hot and pot cooking where you put the mushrooms and that one.
Would you say that in general, Indian recipes are fairly easy to veganize?
Most of them are. Some of them are very, very dairy heavy. So then you can, depending on the recipe, if they're not very dairy heavy, you can just use the non-dairy equivalent and then it works out just fine. Some of them are very dairy heavy. Then you have to figure out how to change it so that it changes. It tastes pretty similar to what it used to be, because sometimes dairy can be tricky, right? Like cheese is tricky. So when you're using cheese or cheese, all things like paneer, which is cheese which is used in Indian cuisine a lot, when you're using that, and that's one of the main ingredients in the recipes, then it kind of gets tricky because tofu doesn't exactly taste like paneer. So you have to make sure that, the texture and the flavor is somewhat close to it so that people are, happy with it.
Yeah, nice. One of the things that most of the viewers are interested in from just about every guest is, what do you eat? Like, what do you eat in a day? Can you take us through like a day's worth of the food you eat?
It really depends. Like the weekdays are usually work days. So the breakfast will vary depending on whatever we feel like, in the mood, because that's the only meal we're actually actively cooking for, like immediately to eat. So it varies from, it's usually all savory and it's very Indian most of the time. So we'll either eat poha, which is flattened rice, but I usually mix it with oats that fried up with some spices. So it's kind of like fried rice, but different. It's Indian version of it. And it has nuts and veggies added in it. Then we also eat upma, which is a porridge. It's a savory porridge with different grains. We will eat a chickpea pancake, which is a chila or a pula. We'll use that same batter to make savory French toast, or we'll use it to just fold it up and make it into like a egg sandwich. We'll just put it in some toast. Sometimes it's avocado toast. Sometimes we'll make some waffles, mostly savory again. Sometimes they'll be sweet, but I don't think anybody likes sweet in my house, so it's mostly savory breakfast.
It's interesting because when I've had quite a few Indian chefs on the show, and they all say savory breakfast, which I think are great because Americans eat so much sugar at breakfast. It's like breakfast is dessert for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's just about how everybody's grown up eating. I mean, we never ate any sweet breakfast at all ever. So, even when I moved here and, tried, it just wasn't something that would satisfy me. So I stuck to eating savory.
No, I think it's a great idea. I love it. I mean, because it's like you're actually eating food.
Yeah, it's basically like a small meal.
Nice, nice. Do you use your pressure cooker every day?
Not every day, but quite frequently during the week.
Do you ever use an air fryer?
I don't have an air fryer yet.
I think you would love it because maybe your next book could be Vegan Richa Air Frying Cookbook.
I can't think of another book right now. So once this one's like already done for about a year, I have some time, then I'll probably start thinking about it, and then I might get an air fryer, but really, it's a lot of work. This one took like more than 3 years to write. So yeah, it's gonna be a while.
Wow.
Because there's always so much work for the blog as well. To have to like figure out, okay, when am I gonna have time, and then decide on that.
Wow, 3 years. I thought, yeah, because I find it takes a long time to write books too. Well, what's nice about an air fryer is because, a lot of Indian food, like Indian street food, is often deep fried, and with an air fryer, you can cut out the oil.
Yeah, I just bake them. So yeah, I mean, the baking does fine as well for me right now. I haven't tried comparing it with the air fryer. My sister has an air fryer. I don't think she's very impressed with it yet. So once I think I'll probably borrow hers and try a couple of things and compare. And then, if I feel like it, I'll probably start developing more recipes with it. A lot of the recipes that are baked, people do try it in the air fryer. And then I update the instructions sometimes on the blog that this can be air fried as well. Because anyway, it's baked and there's like barely any oil in it. So you can just air fry it as well.
Yeah, nice. I love that. Yeah, because it can give things a crunch without the oil,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are your favorite recipes to make? The dump ones?
Again, it depends on the day. The dumb ones are really good, but then sometimes you really want a lot of the flavor, and you want it to be like a wow meal, so you go for a little more extensive recipe. So it really depends on the day. A lot of the times, the dump ones are the ones I give to my husband when he's cooking, because they're just like no, interruptions while you're cooking. You just read the recipe once and you're good to go. You don't have to keep referring to the recipe that, oh, okay, I just have to saute for like how many minutes and then add something else, and then another few minutes of something else, and then open and do something else. So that's it just makes it a longer process, and then you have to be in the kitchen. But with dump and done, you can just like set it in and be doing do other stuff that you want.
I love it. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite ways to cook. Do you batch cook for yourself or your family?
I don't, because as a food blogger, I'm constantly making new stuff. If I batch cook, then who's going to eat the new stuff?
That's a perfect answer.
Yeah, sometimes I will do that, like when my parents are visiting, and then we're generally cooking a lot. We're cooking every meal in fresh. There's breakfast, lunch, dinner, sometimes the evening snack as well. So then I'll batch cook some of the beans and keep. But other than that, I don't really batch cook.
Do you even cook rice in your Instant Pot, or do you prefer to use a rice cooker?
I don't have a rice cooker. I cook it in the Instant Pot, or I cook it on the stovetop. Most of the time it's in the Instant Pot.
What's the secret? Because I find that I love my Instant Pot for everything, except I find that for me, it always comes out better in a rice cooker. I'm wondering what I'm doing wrong.
It's probably the type of rice and the brand, and then you have to tinker with the timings and the water in the Instant Pot, and get to the point that it makes it right all the time. So for the white rice, I soak it for at least 10 minutes, drain it, and then pressure cook it only for 5 minutes, then open for after another 5 minutes and fluff it up, and it is always perfect. With brown rice, you do about 18 to 20 minutes, depending on the brand of the rice, and use less water. You don't want to use too much water. If it's 1 cup brown rice, then maybe just a scant 1 cup or 1 or 2 tablespoons less usually comes out fine. But if it isn't coming out fine, just use the rice cooker.
Do you have a favorite rice?
Hold on, I'm gonna send you voicemail.
There you go.
Yeah, somebody is calling me.
Oh, yeah. Next time, put it on airplane mode. That's the secret.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of rice?
I like white rice because my stomach doesn't like brown rice. I've tried a couple of times.
Thank you for saying that, because I get bashed white rice, first of all, in my opinion, there's nothing more delicious than white basmati rice. But as a lifelong IBS sufferer, there's something so comforting to my GI tract of white rice.
Yeah, and you're not eating just the white rice, just a bowl of white rice, like if it's served as a part of a meal, like if it's on the Indian plate, you've got a couple of beans, you've got some vegetables, you've got some other stuff, maybe 2 vegetables, 3 vegetables, maybe there's a flatbread as well. All of those things have enough fiber and nutrients. And your white rice is just like a carrier for all of those flavors. And, you don't, I get bashed for white rice as well. So I'm just saying that it's unnecessary when it's a part of a meal to think about, oh my God, why are you eating white rice?
Right. Well, people now the big thing is to worry about the arsenic in rice. And so I buy an organic brand called Lundberg from California that I feel comfortable eating.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not going to give up rice.
Yeah, I won't either.
Good for you. Good for you. So blogging, that must take up a lot of your time.
Yeah, that's pretty much I think I work more than 10 hours a day on the blog.
Wow, that's a lot. Do you enjoy it though?
I enjoy the creation part of it, the creativity and the recipe testing, recipe creation, the photography, the videography. I do not enjoy the online time, which is the editing the posts and the social media. I mean, some part of social media I like, but not all, and all those things. But thankfully, I can now, I hire some virtual assistants to help me with all of those things so that I don't have to be online that much.
I agree with everything you said. Yep. Nice. Do you have any spare time? And if so, what do you do?
I have like lots of health limitations. I really can't do much anyway. So if I have time on the weekend, I'm usually doing blog work. But if I do want to do other stuff and it's cloudy, then I go out and go to the beach. My sister visits, my niece is here. I spend time with them. I visit some friends and stuff like that. That's pretty much it.
Oh, do you still have dogs?
Yeah. We adopted one last August because our first Pomeranian passed away in 2019. We finally, were in the right mind last year, and then we found the dog and adopted it in the shelter. That was fun as well because I couldn't go to the shelter that day. It was really sunny. So I sent my husband, and he's like, if I go, I'm going to probably like him and adopt him. And I was like, I think that is the plan.
Oh.
So he went and met him, and then he thought about it, and I saw him on video, and he adopted him. So now we have one. We're trying to adopt another one, but it's really difficult, to find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for adopting. That's the thing. You can't really go to a shelter without taking something home, can you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. That's great.
Let me show you a few pot and pot recipes that you can make from the book.
Oh, please do. Yeah. Show. And did you do the photography yourself?
Yes, I did all of the photography myself and the videos as well. Some of the videos show up on social media. So from the book, those are all done by me as well. So this is the baked potatoes with barbecue lentils. This is a pot and pot recipe. You put the potatoes in the main pot, and there are pictures. There are lots of pictures in the book, and there's stuff pictures as well for some of the recipes. So it tells you that you put the potato in the inner pot, then you take another pot and add all the lentils and the spices and barbecue sauce and everything, put it on top of the potatoes and close the lid and pressure cook. So then once you're done pressure cooking, you open the lid, your lentils are done, your potatoes are done, you just layer them up. You can add a little dressing you want and you're good to go. Then things like, where's my crunch wrap? You can also make crunch wrap, well, not entirely in the Instant Pot, but it's the ingredients of it. So you put the jackfruit and the spices in the main pot. You put the queso ingredients in a pot on a trivet that you lower over the jackfruit, you close the lid and pressure cook. Then you take the queso ingredients out, just blend it up. That's your queso. So now you have your really nicely spiced jackfruit, which you can add black beans to it as well. So you have this protein stuff, and then you have the queso, and you can put it in crunch wrap, burritos, tacos, or even you can even make a nacho mac and cheese, bake and stuff like that. So you can make a bunch of different things, and it takes the same amount of time in the same Instant Pot.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Do you have any of the pot recipes in any of your books that you mentioned?
These are the pot and pot recipes are just in the Instant Pot book. They aren't there in the other books. I mean, what was the question? That was a question, right?
Yeah, because I haven't actually, I don't think I've seen a demonstration of pot and pot cooking. So when you do pot and pot, do you have to, like, where do you get the other pot? I'm assuming you have to buy it somewhere.
So you get a couple of things when you buy the Instant Pot. You have the trivet when you get the Instant Pot, but the other pots you'll have to buy. You can buy those on Amazon or elsewhere. You just look for stackable pots, and I can show you how the stackable pots look. So this is one of the, let me bring it up. So this is one of the stackable inserts that I have, and you can get these in multiple sizes. There's a 3-quart version as well, which is smaller, so you can find for all of your Instant Pots. So there are 2 pots. You can also get a 3-pot insert, and this one comes with a lid, so you don't even need to keep putting foil and stuff if you want to seal the pots that you're using. And you can use 1, 2, how many ever you want. It comes with its own handle thing, but you can put it on a trivet as well. Let me show you how it goes on the trivet. So that's the trivet that you get with your Instant Pot, and you can put these pots on your trivet and then lower it in the Instant Pot and take it out. When it's hot, definitely use the silicone mini mitts to do that, to pull it out. That's that. You might need to get a steamer, either a steamer basket or some other, steamer insert. I have this steamer, and I have another steamer as well. This is the simple steamer that goes in. I usually use this for my bourguignon, where I put the cauliflower and potatoes in with the mushroom mixture at the bottom, so that they steam at the same time, and then you just mash them up and serve the mushroom bourguignon over the mashed potato cauliflower. I also use it to steam the cauliflower and cashews that I use to make Alfredo. So the pasta, the fettuccine is cooking in the inner pot, and the cashews and cauliflower are steaming on top at the same time. Then you just blend them up, mix it into the pasta, and you have your Alfredo.
Wow. Have you ever baked a cake in your Instant Pot?
Yes, I have baked a bunch of different cakes in the Instant Pot. Let me show you the dessert chapter. I baked brownies. These are almond butter brownies, and they're super decadent. That's so good. There's a flan. There's some cobbler. There's some cinnamon rolls as well. And let me show you the chocolate cake.
Oh, wow. That's decadent.
Yeah. So the thing with baking cakes is there's a gluten-free cake as well. So all of the cakes have gluten-free options, and basically this is the gluten-free cake, and you use this same flour in the other cakes. So the thing with baking cakes in the Instant Pot is that it can get a bit gummy, especially if you are pressure cooking it. So we don't pressure cook the cakes, we steam them. So because the cakes are trying to rise when they're cooking, and if you pressure cook them, the pressure is trying to push them down. So how are they going to rise really well, right? So that's why you don't pressure cook them. You steam them so that they can get the rise and the lift, and they are super moist that way, and fluffy and delicious.
Right. Do you ever use your Instant Pot as a slow cooker?
I don't. These two are done. Let me open this. This is gonna disrupt you because I have to quick release it. Oh, this one's already done. Let me quick release this one.
Wow, that opened really quickly. That released very quickly.
Yeah, I was supposed to open it 5 minutes after the pressure cooking got done, but it's been about 9 minutes, so it already was done. Okay, if you can see the rice, I'll just fluff it up. Hopefully it's not, you can see it, right?
I can see it in the pot that you're stirring. I have you on split screen. Yep.
Okay, let me put it in a bowl. So if you can see it, it's nice and fluffy.
Wow, it looks delicious.
And I usually take the inner pot out of the pot because the plate is hot and I'll continue to cook the rice and you don't want that. And this one should be done as well. Mango chutney.
I didn't know. I've seen chutney recipes that like are made in a blender. I've never seen a cooked one like that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, there are different kinds of chutneys. Those are usually like green, cilantro or something chutney, or mint chutney. So you can saute this to thicken a little bit for a minute or something so that it gets all nice and glazy. I usually add some sugar at this time. I'll add a little maple syrup just to help it thicken. Or you can add some cornstarch.
So the cornstarch would be for thickening.
Yeah. So if you can see, it's all right. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of cooked, but it's slightly. I mean, there's barely any water in it, but it's not thickened. So I'm just sauteing it so that it thickens just a little bit, so that it's more like a chutney to serve with the rice. It'll take a minute or two to thicken, and then that'll be done as well.
And you would eat them together, right?
Yeah.
And would the chutney always be served warm, or is it just because you've made it and it's warm now?
It's warm right now. You don't have to serve it warm. You can store it in the fridge for up to 5 days and serve it however you like, hot or cold. Usually it's pre-cooked, so it's usually at room temperature or cold.
Do you want me to still get the pot in the shot?
No, we're good.
Okay. And I'll come back on. And just put it on here. Great. So 3 years to write a book.
Yeah. And I have like some fun recipes in the book, like this chickpea tofu as well. Because if you don't want to eat tofu or soy, you can use chickpea tofu in the recipes. And this is super simple. You just mix the chickpea flour, water, put it in a dish, which goes in the instant pot, which has some water. So the dish, this is a baking dish where you pour the chickpea flour batter, cover it, and use the trivet and put it in the instant pot, pressure cook, and you have chickpea tofu. That's it.
That is very creative. Are there what recipe was the longest for you to figure out how to make, or that took the longest?
I think the pot and pot recipes, because you have to make sure that the timing works right, on especially for different pot sizes, because the 8-quart takes a bit longer to come to pressure, and the 3-quart comes to pressure much faster. The 3-quart doesn't need as much liquid as the 8-quart, so the timing varies a little bit. So those were, we tried, we tested a couple of times before narrowing down on this, the timing, which is usually given as a range if the recipe, varies depending on the pot size.
Are there any recipes you've yet to be able to figure out how to transform into vegan recipes?
I think I would like to make a really good ras malai. That's an Indian dessert. It's basically just cheese. Like it's a freshly made cheese balls in a dairy, saffron scented dairy, sauce. I have the sauce down, the milk down. The milk is basically the milk cream sauce that is perfect. But those balls are very elusive. People have made it in several different ways. I made it when I was testing for Indian kitchen using soybeans and tofu and stuff like that, but it's just not the same flavor. It's sometimes not the same flavor, sometimes not the same texture. So I'm waiting for somebody to come up with like a really, really good vegan paneer so that I can make those ras malai balls.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Have you been able to pretty much transform every dish you grew up eating to a vegan dish?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, people do love Indian food. I think most people do. Not everybody, but I think most people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's Indian food is like super varied. It varies based on your region and the state. Like each state has a different cuisine, each region has a different cuisine. Sometimes each city has a different cuisine from the other city. There's so many variations. It's just like when I'm posting on the blog, it's just non-stop the amount of stuff I can keep putting out there because I just haven't even touched certain regional cuisines yet. And not all of them taste the same. So people are like, everything's gonna taste like curry. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about because one dish does not taste like the other. It's very different. Like if you try a North Indian dish, it's most likely going to be tomato based and it's going to be creamy. So you'll have either cashews or something in it. But if you go to the southern part of India, it'll probably be a coconut based, not coconut milk, but shredded coconut based sauce. And it'll use other spices. It'll use mustard seeds and curry leaves. It'll use black pepper instead of cayenne or other chilies. It just depends. And it's going to be a very different flavor. Because they don't even have a single spice which is intersecting between those cuisines. So it's a very different flavor, very different texture. If you go towards the coastal regions, it's completely different. If you go towards the east, it's a bit of, kind of a fusion flavor profiles of the northeast and the Himalayan cuisine. That's very different. So it's very, very different.
Did you plate your dish already?
No, I put the rice. I'm waiting for this to. It's kind of thicken some.
Oh, you want to make it to thicken a little bit? Okay, I just want to make sure that you show us the plating.
That's the mango chutney, and that's the rice. And let me get a spoon to show you how.
That looks beautiful. I love the plate. It looks spectacular.
So that's the rice. It's like super fluffy.
Wow, that looks so
mango
good.
chutney.
And it was so easy. I mean, the longest part was our conversation. It took you literally minutes.
Yeah, because it was a dump and done recipe.
I love that. Dump and done. That's a great name for a book. Dump and done.
Yeah, that would have been. I mean, there's just too many options that I had to put in the book, so I didn't make only a specific type of recipe. But I could probably do like a smaller set of recipes for a dump and done kind of cookbook.
Yeah. Do you give a lot of presentations or do you teach cooking classes ever?
No, I haven't done any presentation or any cooking class before starting to do it this year. So this is my third third recording.
Well, good. Fantastic. No, because I'm sure people would like to see them because I mean, they won't believe how easy the recipes are.
Yeah, it's just hard on me because right now I'm already tired of standing.
Oh.
So, last year I wasn't even able to stand more than like 3 or 4 minutes at a time. So it really, my health varies and stuff that I can do varies and stuff like that. So it's just really hard. Some days stuff just happens. So I can't then do things, my balance is affected or my eyes are not coordinating well and stuff like that. So then that's why I don't like to do, any kind of live or deadline oriented events and stuff like that. So yeah,
Well,
and even, yeah.
well, thank you for doing this then. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm trying out stuff to see what my limits are.
Well, that's good. But people, if they want to connect with you though, they Instagram would be the best place to send them, and your blog, of course.
Yeah, you can find me on veganricha.com. That's my blog. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything under, and YouTube as well, everything under Vegan Richa. So wherever you want to connect with me, whichever social media you like, or you can sign up for my emails on the blog. And then if you want to buy books, you can buy them anywhere that you like, any bookstore that you like. They're available everywhere. They're available everywhere in online bookstores. They're available in local bookstores. You can also find them in libraries if you don't want to buy them, or you can always just try the recipes from the blog before deciding to buy.
Great. Well, thank you.
About half of the proceeds from my cookbooks get donated. So just in case you're still thinking, we donate half the amount of the cookbooks for all of my 3 cookbooks to different charities and organizations. Those charities are listed on the website as well. They're usually sanctuaries, animal charities, some education, some justice.
Wow, that's very kind of you. Thank you. And thanks for mentioning that. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for this presentation and the recipes, and for all the work you do veganizing the delicious Indian recipes. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Chef AJ.
It's my pleasure. And if you ever want to come back, we would love for you to test your limits again.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow for another fabulous show.